Hopefully everybody's having a good Friday. I still don't know how this happened. I was out for a walk before this because I had a gap between meetings, and I went to go take a step in the grass because I like to put my feet in the grass. And I think either there was a bee that was, dead, or like it flew right underneath me, and I was just like, ow, like
Oh,
I don't
wow.
know how or what I stepped on, but it looks like a bee sting, and I was like, oh, that's I don't know if that
That's
was a
not
bee or
fun.
what, but um, I was just like, wow, I didn't think that was going to happen. But yeah, I just wanted to start, first of all, and say thank you to everybody that was able to attend live. I mean, time is the only thing you really can't print. So I'm very grateful and appreciative for you guys to come out and have these conversations. I think they're helpful and meaningful. And so it's good to be back to do another one. Very excited to be doing this with Asif Ramani today. So I'll give him a chance to introduce himself in a moment. For those that I haven't met before, my name is Will, based out of Toronto. I'm the CEO and founder of Right Way I. We're a people-centered AI engineering firm, so we help Microsoft partners and customers with their AI innovation, whether it's building agents or helping them understand how to stand up their AI infrastructure. So it's a little bit about the company and me, and those are the kind of my background and credentials. I'm a Copilot Studio MVP, Fabric and Azure AI engineer. Been a data scientist for a number of years now. And outside of the professional world, I do a lot of activities, including skateboarding, snowboarding. I wasn't driving that boat, but I was on that boat. So I am a boat, what's the word? Sitter. I guess I sit on boats. I don't drive them, but now you know. But that's a little bit about me, and I'll hand it over to Asif to give himself an introduction.
Yeah. Hey, Will, thanks for having me here. My name is Asif Rahmani. The slide looks fairly simple over here, so I'll expand on it a little bit further. I've been in the Microsoft industry, just the Microsoft space, for a long, long, long time, maybe too long. 2001 is when I got into Microsoft. Before that was Lotus Notes and other Java stuff that I was doing before. This is my 21st year as a Microsoft MVP. Repeat. Does not mean that I know everything. It just means that I've been serving the community for that long. That's why they give us the MVP, just to try our best at conferences and sessions like this and so forth. That's what I do myself. The company Visual SP is a company that I founded quite a few years ago, and we help customers. Let me put this simply over here. We make Microsoft software actually stick with people. So things like Dynamics, Copilot, Microsoft 365. If your complaint is that, hey, my guys are not understanding, my people are not understanding how to use the software, how to use it properly, Visual SP just makes it simple to get it to be used as an overlay that just appears on top of those applications. Guided walkthroughs, banners, inline help, stuff like that. So if you want to learn more, go to visualsp.com, check it out, and very much looking forward to the session. And so many thoughts come to mind. One big one, I think, Will, and you and I are talking about this one specifically, is the worry that can their people trust Copilot or not? That when an answer comes back, what do you do? We've been hearing this a lot from everyone that you have to trust but verify, trust but verify. What does that really mean, though? Right? If I have to, if I put a question in and I get the answer, then I have to check it anyway. Might as well have done it myself to begin with. So there's a lot of that confusion, unfortunately, out there. It I had told Will about this also story that a similar thing happened before a long time ago where a lot of information was coming in through a company before called Fast Search that it was in SharePoint days where we're just bringing all this information in and people are like, well, this is just too much information. Can I trust it, first of all? And am I able to even see this? Is this something uh, that I should be able to see, some permission, constrained things. And this is, we're talking about 16 years ago, by the way. A lot of companies at that time pulled back on their deployment of Fast Search. And I'm seeing the same thing happen a lot with AI right now, where they're just going and they're like, well, we're not ready. Permissions are not right. Governance is not right. The trust, our people are not ready for this. And then what happened at that time, I think I made a video about this also. What happened at that time is some companies moved ahead, others got left behind a little bit, and then those are the ones that got left behind saying, listen, we're not going to be perfect in terms of our answers to what people are asking in terms of, can I trust this data? Can I get the right governance, right security permissions? We have to do it. And they went ahead and moved forward. I'm seeing the same exact cycle repeat, exact same thing. If you do a search for this specific company, FAST, F-A-S-T, and it was actually capital letters, F-A-S-T, if I remember correctly, this story was out there 16 years ago. And I can bet that the history will repeat itself. The laggards who are not moving as fast are going to be pushed by their competitors, by the market, to just go ahead and do it.
Coming to my awareness this week is anything you create, you have to manage. And I think the last couple of years, people have been really okay with, all right, let me pilot and play with a bunch of AI stuff. I'll go into Copilot Studio and fire up an agent and click the bells and whistles and do my thing. But that versus scaling an agentic application of any kind, including multi-agent systems and MCP servers and everything like that, that to me is where there's a massive gap, because that's where a lot of people have gone from experimenting to thinking about okay, how do I actually make this work long term? Especially, right now, the pace of change has increased dramatically over the last couple of years. Every time a new model comes out, I thought it was funny. I was on a call with a client a couple of days ago, and they were laughing how I think even Claude Fable 5 still can't count to 100 or something like that. But I'm like, oh, it can take down an entire cybersecurity team in 2 hours. So there's just this massive invariance, and that's where actual practical software making and engineering skill sets are evolving. I was reading an article on Monday. Databricks is one of the first that I've seen to release a certification called context engineering, and actually define it as a discipline, because they've actually seen that with building these applications and getting them to a place where people are using them, and it's not just personal pet projects. These are standards that the organization needs to enforce. How are we keeping our context windows clean regardless of the model size? What kind of memories are we hooking on? What is our approach to MCP server governance? That comes up a lot in conversations right now, because defining an enterprise policy for that is very different, because you may not know.
Yeah, the context is we have, over 100 mechanical contractors using our solution, which is a layer of code atop of Dynamics 365, sales, service, and accounting. And we're fine. And we have private equity roll-ups using this thing. We've got guys that do stuff in their basement at night. It's all over the place. And we've got one, I'm not going to say who, or, we've got one situation where they're recording all the employee keystrokes, one of our larger clients, in the hopes that they could get rid of staff. It's been going on for 5 months, and then it's not going well, but they're throwing a lot of money at it. We've got people wanting us to turn Copilot on just to Dynamics 365 so they can get summaries of some of our custom entities. And for us, that's a support nightmare, because it'll just spawn questions. The other thing that I'm kind of I'm waiting, we're doing an event in Chicago, an industry event. I kind of want to have Claude for Field Boss as the name of our product. So we can use a Dynamics 365 connector and get in there, and then, salesperson can do an awful lot around estimating. So it's just become Wild West. We can't control what the clients buy our product because of the platform and the connectivity and the configurability and everything. And to try and, put on guardrails and bring order to chaos is really hard, because people just want to do what they get excited, or they know something. They go in different directions. It's hard to suppress that without killing morale. There's so many. It's really, really, we're facing this now, and there's other people in my company that know more about this than I do. But Copilot is not the answer. No one wants it. They want Claude. And so I wanted to get your opinions on. No one in my company wants to use Copilot. They all want to use Claude. All our external advisors, other than you guys, are telling us to use Claude, and the staff are learning it on their own. They're using it in their own lives and stuff. And and then I have a second question. Can you clarify for me how Microsoft's got these, is it MAI models or something? Like they're not using OpenAI either because of cost or whatever. Is that like the Chinese models that are cheaper that are going to be safe? Like, so I got two problems. I got internal, my product, and please clarify what the hell Microsoft is doing. What should I be afraid of? Like it's terrible. Like this is like a therapy.
It's a zoo.
Session. Yeah.
Yeah. This is going to be the AI
yeah, but
therapy
we've
corner.
got millions and millions of dollars at stake here. We got like we have $500 million companies using our product, and they're expecting to get a return and a value creation strategy if they're private equity. So my life has gotten really, really difficult since I guess Anthropic shipped the legal stuff and there was a SaaS apocalypse and the whole world completely changed. So there you go. Have fun with that.
Some quick answers, by the way. The MAI that you mentioned actually stands for Microsoft AI. So it's a Microsoft internal.
I can't remember that. That's a
okay.
That's
right. That's easy.
That's all I get out of this meeting. I'm good.
Yeah. So I think it's a good acronym. It's easy to remember. MAI, Microsoft AI. It's in-house.
They got an acronym.
Yeah, one of them that actually makes sense. It's a large language model. It's a foundational model. Definitely, I think it's going to be good going forward. It's not great right now. It doesn't compete that well with some of the other frontier models, but that's what it is.
Who cares? Is it good enough?
Yeah, obviously, honestly, there's even really small language models, so SLM, that are good enough with our, I think, like 2 gigabyte or so points. What do you call those? Escaping my mind, right? Yeah, the parameters, and you can have it on your phone really for some of the stuff. It's really good enough. Anyway, so that's the MAI story.
I think what is interesting to point out in this is that it's not necessarily a binary choice between one and the other.
I know.
Because the LLM itself is always going to change. Like it could be DeepSeek next week. Who knows? Like those guys are like in a hole in a basement somewhere throwing billions of dollars to just see what comes out of it. And things have really moved up to the orchestration layer. And what I was going to share is, so what I use instead of Copilot is I use WorkIQ as an MCP server, and then I run that through GitHub Copilot and then just choose the model that I want. And that's amazing. Like that works really well for me, because when I submit a request to WorkIQ, it's actually calling Copilot underneath the hood to do the orchestration. Like it'll pull the meeting transcript, run Copilot to do the stuff. So I'm still getting the benefit of Copilot, but how I experience the AI interaction is a little bit more in my control. Now, that's more in the professional developer world where, I have that kind of tool set set up in GitHub Copilot. You can do some similar things in Claude, but that's where, to your point, Asif, I think the bet, if you're going to put money on it, it's good to have one hand in both, because like I said, with the MAI stuff, Microsoft is not a model shop right now. And if they try to be, I don't know how well that's going to go. But these other guys do not have the business applications, infrastructure, cloud, everything figured out. So just figuring out what the unique blend is of those things. Like that's why I love having Dynamics through Claude, because that could be the thing. And then, maybe in a couple months, people are like, oh, like I use Cowork and I get the point about the EDP stuff because somebody leaked some stuff through Claude and didn't know about turning off the governance control. And next thing you know, they're open to massive liability. And then they're like, okay, now we have to use Copilot. So I think being able to straddle that line is useful for now, because I don't think there's going to be an outright winner in terms of like, this is the tool to get stuff done productivity wise. If that makes sense. That's my 2 cents.
One of the analogies that I put out there is those of us who are old enough to remember back in 1995, 1994, there's the 14.4 baud modem and Prodigy disk that you put in, or AOL afterwards and stuff like that. That's the era that we're in right now with AI. That's where we are. And it's all crappy. It's all, I want to use a different word, but I don't want that to get recorded, but there's a lot of crappiness going on there. Things are going to stabilize, but it will take time. And until then, just like you were saying, Jonathan, everybody's going to have their favorites. They're going to see, this is the sexy thing that I'm going to do. I don't care what you say. I'm going to use that. And that's fine. And then there'll be a Google moment eventually where things will be like, oh, wow, this is that easy. It's that, and things will become mainstream. internet truly became mainstream because of Google, in my humble opinion. All the information was out there, but there was nobody, no company which was saying, I'll make it easy for you to find that information, to utilize that information, until Google came along. And then, of course, there's many copies after that. That moment is going to happen. And we'll all feel that inflection in the world where, like, wow, now everybody's using AI for everything. That's still a while to come, though.
Would it be fair to say a good analogy is like picking a model right now is kind of like picking a laptop? Like there's different brands and they do different things, but like at the end of the day, the function is still the same.
Because like picking a what?
A laptop.
Laptop.
Oh, laptop.
Like whether you buy like a Lenovo or an HP or whatever, right?
Yeah.
How come staff are asking for clone budget so they can build, servers so they can have local models now? Like it's just
because they think it'll help with tokenomics.
And
let's go.
Asif, I don't know if you can speak to it because you're in America, but I'm in Canada with Will.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest pushbacks I still get that I don't have a great answer for is Canadian clients don't want to use Copilot because the prompt bits and bytes, I call it, keep going to the US still. And so the Canadian Microsoft folks say there's something coming in 2027. But I know Copilot has been adopted in Canada, but so I work in the wealth management space. So our clients are very sensitive, very controlled by what they're controlled by with regulatory. And I still have clients in Canada that won't touch Copilot because of that simple transmission of, again, the bits and bytes, very technical term. But then I can't justify with all these other clients in Canada will still use it. They all have regulation. They all have compliance and governance and all this good stuff. So I cannot seem to make the argument that Copilot is okay for Canadians to use. So
it is a challenge, though. I mean, I agree with them because the prompt, you think about it, a prompt is definitely can have sensitive data in it. Right? Yeah. Definitely. And it will go through the Canadian to United States boundary. Yes. So the actual pushback is valid, in my opinion. It's not. Yeah. But having said that, we've talked about this thing from data sovereignty and data protection and stuff like that for way long time, way before generative AI came to be a thing. That's why SOC 2 exists. That's why ISO 96000, whatever one that exists, all that stuff has to that. And every time we've talked with clients, and we have Canadian customers, we have customers in UK, Switzerland, all the places, whenever that comes up, we say, all right, what exactly is your concern? And they talk about PII.
Yeah.
Right. And then talk about all kinds of like that. And then we talk about, okay, well, what are the exact specific, controller and sub-processor type of relationships which are allowed? I'm sure you understand some of these terminology, right? Because then you have to go, unfortunately, a little bit deep to understand who's a controller, who's a sub-processor, where's the data flowing, what is allowed, what is not allowed. And that's when we got to a point where we started saying, all right, here are the exceptions you would need to make in order for you to be able to work with us, with the technology we can provide. And those exceptions have been made by some really large organizations. We're talking about, I can't name specific ones, but we're talking about ones that all of you would know. They're like, oh yeah,
there are Canadian banks using Copilot.
Yeah, there you go. So those exceptions have to be done.
It's illogical.
Yeah. Well, appreciate the great conversation. Go ahead, Jonathan.
To say, as a customer of a wealth management firm, if they put those constraints on, I'd be upset.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
I want to get the best resources on my account as possible.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's not like other AI is being used by a lot of people under the radar. That's the irony here, right? It's like, it doesn't make sense in this day and age. So, yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of good things to chew on there. I wanted to just say, first of all, thank you to you all for your participation. And thank you, Asif, for taking the time to jump in and have some of these conversations. I mean, feel free to just message me after, but the last thing I wanted to get on was if you guys were interested in this being like a weekly thing, and it's not like mandatory attendance. I just figured like keep the date and time consistent, so that everybody has access to it. So you'll see more information about that at some point. And I wanted to plug the next Copilot Chronicles webinar, because why not? Which Tanya will be co-hosting
Thanks for the plug.
with.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you didn't even know that was happening. Here you go. So yeah, feel free to check that out. Recording will be up for this shortly. If you have anything else, just message us. And thank you for your time. Enjoy your weekend, guys.
All right.
Thank
This
you.
is awesome.
Great.
Thank you.
guys.
Thanks, Will.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Tanya, I'll message you on LinkedIn, by the way.
Take care.
Thank you.
Got some
See ya.
additional things for
Thanks,
you.
James.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
sounds good. Thanks, guys.
See you guys. Bye bye.